Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better brace yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is a Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, you guys, so we can put the right information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. We're back in studio. The Freight Coach Roadshow is back home in Arizona, and it is hot as fuck outside right now. But you know what? It's better than 30 below zero back in Minnesota and Wisconsin, where I'm from. So I will take it. But today, you guys, is Q&A day every single Friday. As you guys know, is Q&A show. I lost my train of thought there. It's all transportation, sales, and operations related questions. Drop them in the chat, drop them in the live stream. You guys, whether you're watching over on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever it is, you guys. And if they get filtered through here onto my streaming platform, I will answer them live. As always, I do have a couple of questions ready to rock on tap that were asked during the week. And what I do is anybody who DMs me throughout the week, I reach out to them and I get them all locked in to answer them live on today's show, because I wanted to do one day a week dedicated to this, because, you know, I get a lot of DMs and I see a lot of things out there on social media, and I figured this is the best way to answer that, and the most efficient way is just to do a live show in regards to this. So again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, you guys. I'll answer them live. But yeah, before we go any further, as always, you guys, I'm going to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time. And the best part about what they have is you get paid to move these trailers, you guys. Yes, that is right. That's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading these trailers out. So what they're working on right now is they have Staunton, Wisconsin going over to Milton, Ontario, you guys, and you get $525 US per trailer on this. They also have about 100 trailers left in San Diego. This list keeps dwindling, you guys. People are going in and swooping these up, and they range between $1,100 and $2,200 per move, you guys. So they got vans out there. They have some roll-up door vans as well as some swing door dry vans, and they go everywhere, you guys. They go Texas, New York, Mass, New Hampshire, Arkansas, Ohio, Michigan, and like literally, you guys, and it goes from $1,100 to $2,200 per move on those. And then finally, you guys, they have Paragould, Arkansas going up to Mississauga, Ontario. They got 136 trailers out there, you guys, and those pay $736 US on that, you guys. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends Zach Lonergan and Stacy Steen, they will be in the audience. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Patty, I will enjoy the heat. It's we got 3 months. We got 9 months of perfect weather out here in the desert, but we got 3 months that, you got to earn it. We'll call it that way. April Maroney, happy Friday. Let's get after it. Stephen Thompson, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Nick Sanders, good morning from St. Louis. Let's make some customers happy today. Amen to that. Sunny Sharma, good morning, logistics family. Let's fucking go. You are correct, sir. Yeah, you guys, I'm excited, man. It's Friday. My family's coming back today. So I'm going to, be able to spend, I haven't seen them since like Sunday. So I'm looking forward to spending some family time this weekend and getting all of that up and running. But, we got our Q&A show today, you guys. But let me see here. I forgot to bring this up here the other day. Diesel, I wanted to bring this up. Diesel is back up to $3.80 a gallon. So it raised up a little bit this week. And I know I haven't done it because I've kind of been on the road since they released it. But yeah, you guys, so diesel is coming back up. And again, pay attention to these trends, you guys. Pay attention to the fuel trends, because, another question I get all the time, and I know I answered this last Friday, is how do I quote customers? And fuel has a lot to do with that, right? It's the carrier's biggest expense, and learning how to understand what a carrier's costs are is going to help you effectively quote freight. You guys, it's going to help you do that. It's going to help you understand why they need what they need, because again, they need to make money too. And again, paying attention to fuel trends is huge, especially if you're out there bidding on large RFPs. You need to know what that is, because fuel surcharges change on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, however those customers set up. So you need to understand how a lot of that works, so you can put the right price in there. Another way you could do that is jump over on green screens. I mean, I literally used them to fill out an RFP, like 70 lanes or something like that. It literally took like 3 seconds. I'm not over exaggerating, you guys. It was like, if you spend a ton of time filling out RFPs, seriously, look into it. And again, you guys, I use it every single day to quote. Every single load I quote on, I use it because it's the most effective tool in the market, you guys. So if you guys are interested in that, again, my freight volume's up 20% with them. So greenscreens.com or greenscreens.ai, excuse me, / the freight coach. If you guys want, you DM me if you guys want to learn more. I'll put you in contact with them. But yeah, you guys, pricing is going to be everything, and especially how the market is going. I know we broke down a couple of articles on that yesterday, so I'm not going to get into it again today. If you want, just jump on, watch the replay on that. But, again, you guys, staying on top of these trends and staying, it is one of those situations that, as the market trends, you need to stay up to date on that. You need to be able to identify that. And I think that that's one thing that is going to give a lot of people a ton of value if they're searching for that value in this market, in a market that is very, very normal. Okay. This is a very normal freight market, and I want people to be aware of that. But there are a lot of consistencies that ride with these. So again, like we were talking in yesterday's article, the freight market lasts, 20 to 24 months is what they were saying, or 20 to 28 months. I think it's like 18 to 21 in my experience on when you can start seeing noticeable traction in a market shifting in one way or another. And again, it's like, that's how it's always performed though. All right. So it's like, again, and then the seasonality, the micro seasonalities inside of that, right? If you're a reefer carrier or a reefer broker, produce markets tend to shift. It increases prices, decreases capacity, yada, yada, yada. And there's a pattern that follows out there. So again, it's identifying those consistencies in there. It's only going to help you solidify yourselves with customers more, right? Because they don't just need somebody to throw a rate at every single load, right? They don't need somebody to go out there and say, oh, I can do it for this. I got trucks in your area, yada, yada, yada. That's what everybody does, right? Not they work with quality providers for a magnitude of different reasons. But again, it's identifying the consistencies and the trends in the trend lines in these markets and delivering that information to them, right? It's staying ahead of the curve, you guys. It's using the right data to identify these things so you can bring maximum value to your customers. That has to be your focus at all times. Is how do I add value? How do I create loyalty with my customers? And for any of you pessimists out there that think that it doesn't exist, it's because you haven't actually fucking implemented it. So yeah, let's see here. We got some more. Lance, what's up, dude? Good morning to you as well. Let me see. Teresa Dunlap says, good morning. John Radvansky, dude, I love that car. That is awesome. He says he's watching over on YouTube. Happy Friday, freight friends. And Carla Isted, good morning. Thanks for tuning in, Carla. Good to see from you. And then, yes, Teresa Dunlap, emphatic yes. Double exclamation mark. But yeah, you guys, today's Q&A day. And again, whatever questions you guys have, drop them in the chats. I will answer them live on this show. You guys, drop them in the chats. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, drop them in the chats. I'll answer them live on the show. All right. So one question, excuse me, I got is, how do I separate myself after onboarding a new customer? And this is something that I have actually spent a ton of time on this year. More time than I have in the past. That, and for me personally, it is going to be, let me see, separating yourself now. So I think that for me personally, right now, it is, I would say the only difference between now and past markets is it's a lot harder to onboard customers than it has been in the past. Because in the past, I found it easier to get in the door with shippers, but harder to separate yourself after you've been in the door, right? Um, I found it now where it's harder and it takes longer to get onboarded. And then from there, it's like a brand new sales process after it starts. Okay. So it's like when you get in the door, you're not necessarily getting access to a lot of business, right? And this is why it's like after you get onboarded with somebody, you should always quote everything no matter what and work everything no matter what, especially early on, right? Unless you have like zero experience in any of the things that you've after a customer that you've onboarded. But then again, I have to question, why would you onboard that customer if you don't know how to execute upon their freight? But I digress. I think that what this individual is asking though is like, what can I do differently? I think people would be pleasantly surprised on how little other people actually might be doing, right? Even if you have, even if you even if they've had a network of 15, 20 years, has that service level exceeded their expectations? And I'm sure it has in some instances. Or has it been okay? It's been good enough and they've just accepted that, right? And shit, I look at this all the time when I go into certain restaurants and you all notice it too, right? Like when you go somewhere and you can tell like somebody's going above and beyond to ensure that your experience with them is next level. And I think like that's the way you have to assess yourself, right? And so it's like for me, I always look at because like I would argue the best communication process in the industry, right? Like my customers never reach out to me to find out what's going on ever. And if they do, I failed. That's how I assess it every single time. So for me, I think that it's always going to boil down to those small, soft skills because, like again, service and communication is literally the only thing that you get to offer as a brokerage. No matter what you want to spin and say that, oh, we do it a little bit differently. We have this and that and everything. None of that fucking matters if you can't service them. All right. Like what Will Jenkins posted out there the other day, I still fucking laugh at it, but it's very true. You're just a broker at the end of the day. So what are brokers good at? For me, and then especially it's like, what can I control? I can control my communication, good, bad, or indifferent. My customers are going to know exactly what's going on at all times. I will not risk the integrity of their relationships with their customers to try and fucking mask my inefficiencies. For me personally, you have to look at it. If you're going to separate yourself from anybody, is literally do everything that you think that, they might not need that. Do that, right? Again, updates is everything. Communication is key. Calling people ahead of time, verifying information, verifying that the facility can actually offload the truck that you're bringing in, that they have dock doors if you're a dry van or a reefer broker or carrier out there, calling ahead, double checking, triple checking they have the right equipment to offload those trucks. Everything is everything working that day. Shit happens, you guys, right? So it's again, as I'm going out there and looking at that, I'm over communicating no matter what. I don't think you can ever over communicate on a load. I truly don't. But I'm going to go out there. I'm going to call every single facility that I'm going into. I'm going to find out, hey, how do you want me to reach out to you? Right? Especially if they're first come, first serve. Again, I specialize in open deck and heavy haul freight, which in my opinion, we're the best at it. Freight Coach Logistics is hands down the best one in the industry. But I talk to every single receiver and I ask them, how do they want me to reach out to them? After I verified everything I need from them, when the load's in transit and the day of delivery and everything, I want to find out what they need. Okay. Because again, people plan out like freight for most transportation managers, receiving managers, shipping. It's a small percentage of their day. They got to manage their staff for the day. They got to manage what people are doing, inventory levels, everything else. I want to make it so fucking easy to work with me that they have to tell everybody under the sun why we're different. Okay. So communication is going to be everything. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to identify that. And again, I just want them to have a positive experience with me because yes, price matters, right? I'm not going to say that price doesn't matter right away, but in due time, you guys, price becomes secondary. And if your whole thing is set it and forget it, that, oh, hey, the load picked up and then you don't tell them anything and they got to reach out to, hey, did this shipment ever deliver? Fuck, like that just drives me up the wall. right there. But again, look into that and see. Like, I will always say that service and communication is going to boil down to everything, and you need to improve no matter what. You need to continue to deliver those messages no matter what, every single time. But all right, let me see here. That was one question. Let me see here. John says that's a 71 Le Mans Sport 455 Auto Trans. He built the car himself. Dude, that is awesome. Josh Hempstead, what's up, brother? Dude, I owe you a response on your text. My apologies. Tony the closer Darnell, and the Tony the closer Darnell. Tony, I don't need drayage, Darnell. I love it. Teresa Dunlap says you have to introduce your operations. Fingers crossed. I think that has a lot to do with it, Teresa. I think it does. Andrew Teal says just because you're in the TMS doesn't mean you are getting freight. Jerome Jones, dude, I just answered one of those questions today's Q&A day. If you got any questions, Jerome, drop it in the chat, man. I'll answer them for you. April Maroney says, give them detailed info and leave no stone unturned. Relay issues and be proactive. They should never guess where their freight is. And most importantly, if you present them with the problem, give them a few solutions and let them pick up. Don't just throw their problem in their lap. Yes, I would agree with that. Again, I think that it is being very much in those instances, giving them a few solutions. I think, like, again, this is another, again, back to separating yourself from after you've onboarded them, because it's never a matter of if in this industry, you guys, it's a matter of when things happen. And again, you can separate yourself when there's some issues or perceived issues just based on your experience. And I understand not everybody has all the experience in the world in those instances, but, again, give them a couple of solutions to the best of your abilities in there. Fortunately, I've seen a lot of shit go wrong in my career. So I have a lot of gut instincts on how to react when there's issues at shippers, receivers, in transit, everything else, because I've dealt with it enough where my first reaction is working on the best solution that I know in those moments. So again, it's just one of those situations where, all the experience you want, you guys, comes in repetition, good, bad, no matter what. You want to get better at cold calling, make more cold calls. You want to get better at handling issues. Unfortunately, it's going to come from when issues arise and you just go out there and you go through it, right? Like, I want everything to fucking go perfect every single day. You guys, I truly do. But that's just not the reality of it. And again, those are some of the greatest separating factors out there. My book of business has always grown when something happened. Okay? Literally every single time. Because again, are you really doing anything different if your trucks show up on time and deliver on time? No, you're doing what's expected of you. But it's a way for you to separate yourself when things, because again, most people run from adversity, you guys. They run from problems. They kind of try and hide because they hope things actually work themselves out. And that doesn't always happen. And yes, Teresa, 100%. It's not that they're not going to be upset, but they're going to appreciate the fact that you got ahead of it. In that she says that customers tend to be less mad if you call them first and early. 100%. Appreciate you, Josh. Also, another thing I get on is expanding my network. Nick Sanders says, favorite music to get into the zone for. It really depends on the day, man. I think, because I have a very eclectic music genre playlist going on all the time. Some days it's heavy metal, some days it's fucking 90s rap. Some days it's fucking 90s hip hop, man. I'm not going to put it past myself to bump some boy band shit. I'm going to be honest. We all dance to it and we all know all the fucking lyrics, right? I'll just admit it. And then, some days, man, it's just country. Again, I grew up on a gravel road in rural Wisconsin, so I like to fucking bump country sometimes to get in that zone too. So it's really just the moment. Let me see here. All right. Next one I got is networking. It was a question on networking and what it really means. And for me, I sucked at it for so long, for a very long time. Networking's everything. Again, Bradley, podcast that I listen to, The Real Bradley, he puts it out there where you want to make more money, shake more hands. And I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that the more people who know what you do, the better off you're going to be 100 times out of 100, right? Whether it's your personal network, whether it's just people you're meeting. Like every time I travel anywhere, I am a fucking billboard. All right. I have Freight Coach Logistics shit on, Freight Coach shit on literally every time I go anywhere. I only wear my own clothing for my companies, or like stuff from Andy Frisella, First Form stuff, like, because they send you free t-shirts when you order a bunch of product from them. And I like that a lot. But I only wear, like when I travel, like when I flew this week, guess what I was wearing? I was wearing Freight Coach Logistics polo. I was wearing my Freight Coach hat. All right. I want to get out there. I want to talk to people. I want people to be like, what the fuck's a freight coach? That's what I really want to happen. And again, it's getting out there and talking to literally everybody, being cordial with everybody, saying hi to people. You know, again, I think like there's like networking, I would say, is the most underrated thing that you can do when you're building your book of business or building your business. Getting involved with other like-minded people as well, getting into coaching groups, and just meeting more people, right? Get out there and network with literally anyone in the anyone you could talk to. Sorry, Mike, you're wearing an SPI golf shirt when you come to Vancouver. I have mine and I will, sir. Mike. But no, it's just getting out there and just talking to people, right? Just having conversations. When you have no pressure conversations, when you're just sitting there, you know, shooting the shit with somebody, a lot of things can come with that, right? And I think that you just need to be talking to people, right? Just talk to literally anybody and everybody. You just never know who people know, right? And that's something that I'm always going to emphasize on in any of my companies, is networking and getting people out there and just talking to people, right? Because again, I look at it like this: if you're out there talking to strangers, and just introducing yourself and just getting to know people in your personal life, you should have no anxiety to pick up the phone and call some people for your cold calls, right? Right. So, you know, again, I think like, you know, if you're not actively networking, if you're not out there actively building your brand, no one's going to do it for you, right? Like that's a very hard thing to swallow. Is no one is ever going to care about your business more than you will. All right. No matter how many people tell you great job or you suck or whatever, nobody's going to care about it as much as you. And you got to put your best foot forward and you got to get out there and meet as many people as possible. Not all of it is going to result in something, but that's not my thing. My thing is when I'm networking is it's not what can I get from it. It's what value can I deliver to others in those moments? Because again, maybe I know somebody that can help them out. You know, I get questions all the time about technology and everything else under the sun. What's the best this? What's the best that? And again, I want to put people in contact with people. I want to help people win in any way possible. That's my thing. And I think that the more value you add out there to others, it inevitably comes back, whether it's karma, the universe, you know, whether you pray. I'm a man of faith. I pray all the time. I believe in the universe, though. I believe in putting out so much value that it inevitably will come back to me. And you could give out whatever to 100 people and you might only get 0.5 back in return. But guess what? It's worth it every single time. And that's going to come from networking. And that's going to come from the mentality of, all right, what can I do to help you? What can I do to help that individual out there? Okay. So keep that in mind. Again, like I just, it's all about networking no matter what and getting out there. Let me see here. Teresa says, got to go to an internal meeting. That could be an email. Okay. That is funny. Amen. I appreciate the support, Teresa. Thank you very much. Andrew Teal, Freight Coach, Crocs. I could get some Crocs. I've actually never worn them. But my best friend loves Crocs like a lot. So maybe I'm not going to say no to that. John Radvansky says, yes, do not ever underestimate the value of networking. I missed that part of my job as we have a travel ban at the moment. Extremely frustrating. Yeah, dude, that really sucks. I'll never implement a travel ban for that reason. Fuck, dude. You got to get people out there. You got to be visible. Patty says, well said, be the subject matter expert and be a go giver. Yes. I like that. Go giver, not a go getter, a go giver. I like that. Next question I got was how do I improve? It was mainly about like processes, right? And improvements. And, I talk about this all the time. Like if you sit there and say, this is the way that we've always done things, I think that's the fucking death sentence for your business. I truly do. You have to be constantly analyzing for improvement, seeing, identifying it. And again, like if you've realized like, hey, through experience, this is what we've identified as the most efficient way of doing things, perfect, right? Like but that came with you analyzing improvements extensively prior, and you got to a point where you're like, all right, based off of the last 10 years, this is the most efficient way of doing things. And, for me, it's like, say you're out there and you started your business, you don't have a ton of experience in the industry, and you're just you're just figuring things out. Like, again, fortunately, I have a business partner who fucking loves to write shit down. I hate it. But I think that for me, it's like looking at, all right, so, hey, I booked this load. I said this and this to this carrier in the booking process, and it worked. Okay, so now I'm going to continue to say that. And again, I want to put out there like everything that I need in the booking process, right? Like all of my loads, we require photos. A lot of open deck freight that I move is tarped. So I need a photo of the load untarped and tarped. That's just the requirement. But guess what? The driver isn't at the shipper getting loaded and then finds that out, right? Like we literally say that stuff in the booking process. They know everything on the front end. So if there are any requirements that your customer has with that freight in particular, say it in the booking process. Do not bring anything up after the fact that or if you forgot, lead in with that. Hey, I forgot to mention the customer requires this with this load. Again, you guys, it's all about how you present it, because I think that is going to help you identify the best carriers out there, because that's what they're looking for too, you guys. At the end of the day, if you're lazy and you don't care and you're like, oh, it picks here, delivers here, this is what it weighs, this is what it pays, take it or leave it, bro, you're going to attract what you put out there. The quality carriers that everybody seemingly says that they're searching for, but only when it's in their benefit or when they need them, that's what they're looking for. All right. I know a lot of people who own very successful trucking companies that have customers that have very strict loading and offloading times, and they need back reloads to get them back into those markets. But they would rather go back empty than deal with somebody else's fuck ups or inefficiencies. All right. So take that into consideration. I think constantly analyze your process, see what did you do that worked and works, and repeat that. Become more efficient in that, and you're going to attract a better quality carrier and a better quality customer at the end of the day. It's always about how do I get better? That's my thing. My whole thing is, you guys, in my business is I, like, as somebody who, is self-employed, I don't need to be right. We just need to win no matter what. If you can bring me a way that makes us more profitable, I'm all fucking ears with that. Jerome Jones has a question. He's watching over on YouTube. I have a question. Why aren't you brokers? Why are you brokers now asking for an inspection? Is it because of the double brokering or insurance reason? I think it's a yes to both. I think that it shows some validity, but again, I talked to, like, I'm really good friends with Adam Wingfield, and he brought up a lot of good points on the inspection thing as a whole. I think it is an indicator out there that some people are looking for. But again, I think that, no matter what, Jerome's, because I know you own your own trucking company, is you got to do everything in your power to fight for your business, right? So, and for me, it's like providing that information to be like, no, I am a real carrier. I'm the solo point of contact, all of those things, whether we perceive certain things as fair or not. I think that for you to stand out in a crowd, it is, man. It's like, well, how can I communicate better? What can I do to help show that I am real? And, again, I think that a lot of the double brokering and stuff that's out there, I think it could be extremely minimized if people changed up their processes and kind of what we're just talking about here. But I think that, yeah, man, there's a reason for them to need inspections. And, another thing is, I think that has a big part to do with it, man. I know it's not everything. And, my friend Adam Wingfield explained a lot of that to me, but I know it helps with some people. And then another thing too, man, is, just showing that, obviously having valid insurance that matches up your VIN. I would recommend this, Jerome, because, dude, you've tuned in a couple of times, man. I want to see you win a lot, brother. I think that if you're working with a broker that's new, maybe offering to take a picture of the cab of your truck, because that's something that I would ask, and I know that that's something that shippers ask for too, man, is they want a photo of it just to verify that, hey, you're the company that we booked. because there's some shippers that require that information, right? That if I'm sending in ABC carrier, they check that, they verify that. And if you have that on the side of your cab and you can snap a picture and offer to do that, dude, I think that'll help, as well, man. I hope that answered your question. But yeah, have a great weekend as well, Sonny. But that is going to be it. That was a quick 30 minutes, as every single Q&A day is, you guys. So again, a reminder, every single Friday, transportation sales and operations related questions, drop them in the chat, DM them to me throughout the week. You guys will answer them live on the show. But that's going to be it, you guys. We'll be back on Monday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. I got a couple of guests coming on next week. But as always, you guys, if you guys got value in this, subscribe and share the show, you guys. Rank the show. That's how we are the top transportation podcast at the end of the day, is because if you guys see value, your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.